Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing right now?
Hey guys,
Hello.
Hello.
it's been a while. Nice to see you all again.
Good evening. You guys are absolutely amazing. Hello, everybody in chat, and hello, everybody on YouTube as well. And welcome back to another episode of podcast. Des. Hell yes. It's been a while. It's been a little bit longer than I would have liked. Obviously, with Babymetal going on a hiatus, and then on top of that, the last ending of the pandemic and stuff. There's not been another episode, but hopefully this will be the start of obviously a bit more regularity now. And I have two awesome guests with me. One of them needs no introduction because he's been here before. Legends say that he's been sat in that position and hasn't moved an inch since the last episode of the podcast. It's Mr. Paul. How are you doing, my man?
Hello.
And also, we have another awesome, amazing guest today who's making his debut. Legends say he slew a dragon with nothing but his dance moves. It's Mr. Eric.
Hello.
How are you doing today, mate? You all right?
I'm all right.
So,
Just
yeah.
fine.
Awesome. I just want to say a big thank you for everybody that's turned up, obviously, in Twitch chat today. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please don't forget to leave a like and sub if you like the content. I would really appreciate it. If you want to be in the chat for any live podcasts, to be part of it and stuff like that, why not join the Discord? The links will be in the description down below. That way, next time you can be a part of it, ask the questions, call the shots. All down to you. So yeah, do that. Also, guys, if you want, you can help support me if you like this content. I have a Patreon site as well, or just a tip or something like that. A nice cold refreshing beer would be awesome. So, and it just keeps the wheels and the lights on, shall we say? So first things first, we're going to talk about Babymetal to kick off today. Then we're going to get into some stuff with Eric and Necro, and then we're going to talk about some other stuff with Band-Maid and some other bands as well. If there's any other subjects that you guys, and particularly those in chat right now, want us to talk about, again, just hammer the chat. We'll see it, we'll read it, and we'll talk about any points and questions and stuff when we get there. So Babymetal, are they back? So because we're getting a lot of stuff now. We're getting
Kind of.
kind of stuff now.
A little bit.
What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so I guess Babymetal are famously not active at the moment, much to the frustration of many fans on social media. But they have been doing a couple of things. So at the start of, I guess, the Babymetal year, which is Fox Day, the first of April, we got something very different, something very, I guess, strange that we didn't get before. It was called The Other One. So we're used to the one, which is, Babymetal's, I guess, fan community. It's also the name of a song. It's also the name of a fan group where you can get like special merch and access to tickets and things like that, like a fan club. But it was very different this year. The one item was called the black box, right? So the black box is basically a black box of photographs. It's a little bit like this, and yeah, so it had 50 photographs in it, 5 photos from 10 different categories, and they gave us this this list of different categories, like cavalry, throne, light and darkness. There was 10 of them, so people were kind of thinking, what are these 10 different things? So the photos kind of explain that, and with the photos came access to the digital gallery. So this is basically a gallery of sounds and images from, they say, from Babymetal's past, or a restoration project to bring back the other side of Babymetal. So yeah, I got some of the pictures here, so I might just show a few. So here is one of the pictures. As you see, they're very nice pictures.
Paul's the organized one of the podcast.
Yeah, and then whoa. So yeah, bit of Sue and Moa there, giving their little pose, like not caring about anything. So they're chilling. They're not worried about
Some of these shots are
us.
amazing, by the way.
They are, and they look like much better when you view them, when you see the actual pictures.
Yeah.
Just showing them on a camera here, they're not that good. But yeah, here's another one. So you got Sue and Moa on horseback. That's part of the cavalry theme, which is one of the songs. So yeah, there's loads of those. Just going to show a couple there to give you an idea as to what was on offer there. And yeah, so then you got your access to the sounds. So the sounds are a bit controversial because people are hearing the sounds, even if you didn't get access to the digital gallery officially. They've been spread around the Babymetal community as happens, as understandable. So people have been listening to them. Some people have actually been avoiding them, and I guess here the point is that people feel like hearing like little bits of songs in 10 parts, so each one has 10 parts or 10 snippets, is spoiling the songs. So some people were listening to it for a while and say, oh, this is cool, here's what the song is going to sound about a little bit. Here's what the imagery is like. But then some people were like, well, this is like, I'm hearing these songs, these supposed new songs in little bits, and it's like a spoiler. So people were saying then, well, I'd rather just wait until these full songs come out, if they are full songs, and just avoid listening to the snippets. So
That's what I was going to say. Like what are these snippets? Like are they full songs? Is this a tease for an album? Is this like nobody kind of really knows? But it seems really odd to have these snippets come out in quite a few parts, and they sound like I was avoiding it. I was avoiding it up until obviously I started organizing the this episode, and then I felt I haven't listened to them all. But I've listened to one or two, and I was like, I feel like I'm gonna have to listen to one or two just so I know what these if I'm gonna talk about it, I kind of need to know a little bit. But there's enough there that they sound like full songs. They sound like, if you click the little bits, they sound like that's a fully done song, and they're just 10-second, well, like I said, snippets of a song, which makes me think, hey, there's songs there that we don't know about. There's definitely, whether or not they get released or not is up for debate. But I would love the optimist in me would love that to be a tease for the next album.
That's the thing, like, and there's basically 10 songs. Some of them have had all the snippets released now, so I guess in theory we have the full song. Some of them haven't even started. So, like for example, Cavalry would be the first one I would touch on there. We actually got the supposed 10th and final snippet of Cavalry today, and it actually includes some vocals from Suzuka, which is very exciting to hear. She's singing in Japanese.
I'll do a quick
voice.
I'll do a quick snippet of it so you guys can hear.
Yeah, just that last one there.
So spoiler warning there. But yeah, that's it now. That's my whole entire episode of this podcast claim.
So yeah, so basically this literally just came out today or like last night in Japan. So there's a small vocal part, and I won't read it out in Japanese because I'll butcher the pronunciation. But basically, what she's saying, it means in English, together we cry out, let our journey begin here. The path of escape cut off, the silence defeated. It's time to fight. Raise up your hands.
Yeah, I apologize for the
that's the verse.
The volume there. I didn't realize.
Yeah,
my audio was blowing. Then I do apologize. I didn't check how loud the volume was.
We didn't pick that up, but
so if you didn't hear it, you did now.
Yeah, so I think that's a chorus. It sounds like a chorus to me from the song. So that's, I would say, the most developed one now, because it's the only one that we have all 10 from. But there are just a couple more I would touch on there, and they are very interesting because a few of them have just instrumentals. Yeah, some of them are heavier than others, but there's some kind of really notable ones. So that's Cavalry that you maybe kind of heard there. So yeah, the next one is Mirror. Now we've had most of Mirror. We've had 9 out of 10 snippets of Mirror, but the last one we got is very interesting because it has a vocal part from Suzuka and it's English lyrics. So the lyrics basically translate to: mirror, mirror, listen to my wish, who's the fairest of them all. So that might be familiar for people. It's basically a line from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, where the evil queen says, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all. This is kind of a reference to that. So the Snow White theme is actually, seems like a running theme, or seems it links a couple of snippets, because if you move on to Light and Darkness.
All right, one thing at a time. Let's one thing at a time, Paul. Let's get
No,
there.
but
So
these are linked. So basically, if you go to Light and Darkness, there we've had 8 of 10 of those. This is the most exciting one so far for me, because it's like Suzuka singing in Japanese, and it's like her powerful vocals and singing in her language, which she's always best at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the translation on that then was, I get poisoned, I fall into a dream, the night when light and darkness seek to play together. So that's kind of a reference to Snow White again, because she eats the apple, she gets poisoned, she falls into a dream. That's in the fairy tale. So we can see there that these might not actually be 10 individual songs, that some of them are actually linked. So maybe we get 5 songs out of these 10 snippets, and each one of them is linked to the other. Like, we definitely see a clear link there between Mirror and Light and Darkness in the theme, whereas Cavalry seems to have a different theme.
All right.
So there's definitely that are linked.
Here's 10 seconds of Mirror, and I gotta pray to God that this video sees that this podcast sees the light of day. I love how brutal this is, by the way.
Yeah.
But no, some of the clips are amazing. I kind of want to touch on that. What are your initial thoughts, Eric? I do apologize, my man. You'll get used to taking a back seat on Paulcast. But what are your thoughts with the clippets?
Lewin said the question, if what I think of the snippets. I haven't listened to them. I don't want to listen to them. I want the full album when it comes.
Yeah.
I know more people than me think the same.
Yeah, no, I mean, that, like I said, that was sort of my point of view. I should have asked, actually. He said, I do apologize to play the clips before playing them. I do apologize.
No worries.
But I don't know. I was exactly the same. I hadn't listened to them until yesterday, actually, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to listen to like just 2 little snippets here to find out what this is. I'm like I said, I'm kind of really liking it. I'm hoping this is a new. I'm hoping it's a new album. I'm loving the sound of this album, and I generally think from it's an optimistic call from me here. Having only listened to probably a total of about 45 seconds of all this stuff, but I'm really loving the direction of where this is going. I feel, for me, this is kind of the ballpark of where I wanted them to go. I like, if you take their 3 albums, obviously the first one, I feel like it's really, really, as great as that album is, and I know a lot of people, it is their favorite. For the age that the girls are now, it's kind of really, really hard to replicate that kind of like cuteness. I think that little girl kind of persona. So I think kind of like maybe kind of replicating the first album was never sort of realistic, to be honest. I feel like it was, I don't know, I don't want to say like more of a gimmick, and in a certain way it kind of was originally. Girls metal, I don't think they took themselves too seriously. I think with Metal Resistance, the quality of the girls jumped up a little bit. I think that's when they turned around and said, hey, look, we can be taken seriously here, and the quality, and especially the cameos, got so much more freedom. The songwriting was a lot better. They got more people in to do the songs for them, and I feel like the metal side of that really, really shines. With Metal Galaxy, I feel like they took a complete flip. I feel like they went more, I don't want to say poppy, but more like it's very watered down, which is the complete opposite direction of where I thought they were going to take it after Metal Resistance, to be honest. I personally, I love Metal Galaxy, but I was disappointed with the direction it was kind of going. But there's some absolutely banging songs in that, and I know Metal Galaxy is a favorite for many people. And these sound clips, which is where I'm getting to here, seems like they have learned sort of maybe a little bit of a lesson here, and I feel like they're taking that electronic tone from Metal Galaxy, that experimentation of more of a shift in that, but they've also gone Metal Resistance as well, and I feel like they've hit like from what, again, I'm making massive assumptions here from 45 seconds of sound clips, but it feels like they're hitting like a really, really kind of juicy middle ground between those two albums, and I think that's perfect, to be honest. I think that's going to make a lot of people happy, and probably I think I'm going to make a call now, again, a very ambitious call, that I think this is probably going to be the most well received album probably of them all, because I feel like they're going to hit so many markers here for so many different kind of people that like the metal but also like the tone of Metal Galaxy, and I think they're I'm excited. That's purely it. I'm excited. I've again, from 45 seconds, I'm generally looking forward to them.
Neon, like with albums and Babymetal, like fans have been waiting so long for any kind of music from Babymetal that I think, and like even if it's not that great, it will be, you know, like massively well received, because, you know, absence makes the heart grow fonder, as they say. So that's going to be different. But like just in relation to the 10 songs or what we've heard of them so far, you mentioned like there's a mix. So there is quite a mix in it. Like some of them are heavy than others. Some of them are more poppy. Some of them definitely have like a synth metal. Like I can see some inspiration there from like kind of Bring Me the Horizon type vibe in some of the new songs. Like for example, Illusion. It's like the song Illusion is one of the categories. It's like it's got some heaviness, but it's got like a synth techno vibe as well. But then you have a song like Throne, which is like kind of like an epic build-up song. It's not that heavy, you know.
There's definitely going to be with that. There's definitely going to be moments like that. Like, it's not the whole album. The whole album's not going to be like totally heavy. You're gonna get your classic Sue ballads, and you're gonna get your slower songs and stuff like that as well. So
to me, like Throne feels like it's going to be like the one, or maybe a Sue metal solo. Like Throne is another one of the categories. And that sounds really good to me so far, even though we've only had like 3 of the 10 snippets. It's already sounds great. Do you know what I mean? So there's 10 of them. You know, some of them are heavier than others. So there's something there for everyone. I think if you like the real heavy stuff, you're going to like some of these things if they turn into songs, and if you like the more poppy things, like Transition is extremely soft. It's like a kind of a city pop vibe, like something Perfume would do. So if you like that kind of thing, maybe if you're coming into Babymetal from the pop side or from the K-pop side, you're going to love Transition. You know what I mean? Whereas if you like heavier things, you're going to like, you know, Throne, you're going to like Mirror, you're going to like Light and Darkness, which are, you know, the heavier of the songs. So,
I just want to pick up on Ashley's comment and goes, how funny would it be if it was just an elaborate Rickroll and we get none of this? We just get random sound bites to songs that we'll never see. I feel
just like a way for Koba to troll the fans.
imagine if that was, I would be so angry. Like I can't see them releasing the sound bites and it not meaning something. If that happens, by the way, oh my Jesus God, I'm gonna riot. There's gonna be war. What are you kind of hoping for, Eric, for this third album? Because I know, obviously, like I said, I apologize about obviously the sound clip before without asking. I feel really bad now. But what are your kind of hopes for like a new album or an EP or whatever this is?
What I'm hoping for, I want them to take the step back to Metal Resistance. At first, as you said, they can't be the kawaii band we know anymore. But still, Babymetal is my favorite album.
The first album. For me, that would be my favorite.
It's so hard because like I listen to it and I vibe off it every single goddamn time. I'm just like, oh my God, this is so amazing. And at the time it truly was, and I don't think it could be probably replicated again. At least not for many years, I don't think, to be honest. But the problem with that is like I said, is the age of Sue and Moa now. They're not.
Mhm.
They're not kids anymore.
Mhm.
That's the unfortunate reality of that situation. It's hard. And would we really want them to go back to that now? I know, as nostalgic as that was, they're two
No,
fully grown
I,
women.
I would come in and say no to that because, yes, the original like era with the Baby Metal album was great, but that was like a time in Baby Metal's past. They've moved on now. So like a big thing about Metal Galaxy was, a change in their style and image. So they went from like pure kawaii metal, like cuteness mixed with metal, to what they called mature kawaii. So that was basically a reflection of them growing up, then becoming more mature, then wanting to I guess dress differently on stage as adults, to have different kind of dance moves that were a bit more mature and less kind of childlike. So I think it's good that they've made that kind of progression. I'll be honest, I don't want to see Baby Metal go back to being like super kawaii, because they've done that, and they're in their early 20s now, so it really doesn't make sense for them to do that, and they probably don't even feel comfortable doing that super kind of kid kawaii stuff. So they're in a different stage now in their own lives and in their own music and as artists and performers. So I'm totally happy for them to like progress and move on, and evolve their sound and evolve their style, and move forward. And fans, I think, need to move forward with them. I mean, I think a lot of fans are kind of like stuck in the past, and they're saying, oh, we want to go back to the good old days, or we want to go back to a certain type of image or a certain type of style of Baby Metal. But I think also fans need to move forward with them. You know what I mean? If you want to, because they are moving forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So fans need to either move forward or they get left behind.
Talking of moving forward, I want to just go back to the last episode. I don't know, Paul, if you can remember, but we had a massive debate about obviously when Baby Metal announced the hiatus, but also about like the state of what the group could be moving forwards. Obviously, we had the Avengers. We were talking about the possibility of a third girl, whether that be Momoko or whatever.
Yeah.
Momoko, sorry, Momoko. But we've seen them with that sounds like a tasty coffee, that doesn't it, Momoko? No, Momoko or whatever. But we've seen obviously the Avengers now go off to do different things, join different bands, do different things. So the possibility of one of them being obviously an Avenger now, or a permanent third girl, seems to be gone. That doesn't seem to be happening. It seems now very much that I feel like they're doubling down on the Sue and Moa double act. So how do you feel about that? Because like I said, we spoke in the last episode about like sort of like how we thought it was going to go. Turns out we knew nothing. You know nothing, Jon Snow.
You're guessing.
And it's gone the way none of us predicted. No new Avengers as that we know of yet. Like I said, there could be announcements. No new dance girls, again, not as we know as of right now.
Yeah.
No new member. It very much seems that it's just gonna be Sue and Moa. Like I said, as of right now. Which I don't think anybody kind of predicted. And I know a lot of people were talking when we were talking the last show. A lot of people were a bit like against. Like, has your feeling changed with that now over time? I'll let Eric take this one.
Yeah.
Well, I missed that last. What? Sorry, I had my coffee in.
Yeah, like we were talking about obviously Sue and Moa, the potential obviously to have like the Avengers, but there seems to be nothing at the minute concrete that we can tell. Just seems to be Sue and Moa moving forward. Like, is that does that concern you at all? Like with that setup now?
Baby Metal, that is Sue and Moa right now. The Avengers, Dance Girls have been okay for me, but I still think Baby Metal to me, and I guess to many others, are three girls.
Yeah.
And I really think, I hope they are thinking about getting Momoko. as it seems she is the one that's available.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Just like to touch on that, like, yeah, obviously, like, for someone like me who's been a fan of Babymetal since like they started going overseas in 2014, you know, I'm familiar with the original trio. You know, I had the the privilege or whatever to, you know, to see the original trio, you know, multiple times in the early days, you know, 2014, 15, 16, and that was just an unbelievable time, and it was amazing. So Babymetal for me is three. You know, it's the original trio, but unfortunately we lost Yui there. So like I've always thought that it would be best for them to get a permanent third member, because you know Babymetal is the three. You know, it's Sue and it's the two, you know, Scream and Dance, two other members. So you know, for me, Riho Sayashi was my favorite Avenger and still is. I've become a fan of her since. Um, but you know, she's obviously gone off to do her own, have her own solo career, and fair enough. You know, we had Kano, that was a former SG president. She did a few shows as an Avenger. She has her own thing now. She's with a pop group called 1-5, and she does plays and things like that. So she's moved on. But as Eric said, Momoko is the one that actually doesn't seem to be doing anything now. She had a brief stint in a K-pop survival show where she attempted to you know, become a member of a new K-pop group, but that didn't work out. She was unfortunately eliminated in the first round of public voting. So you know, you could kind of say that that was a dream of hers. It hasn't really worked out. I don't know if she's kind of resigned to you know, stay in the Japanese market. Maybe tried out the Korean market and didn't quite work out. So yeah, she seems to be just like kind of quiet and not doing anything at the moment. So I think if they do have a permanent third member, she would be the most likely. And honestly, I think she's probably the best suited for it now, because she, you know, she did the most shows with Babymetal. She was with them the longest as an Avenger. She did all 10 of the special Budokan shows. So I feel like fans would welcome her now because they're so used to seeing her in Babymetal. And if they came out and said, okay, you know, Momoko Metal is the new third, then people would, you know, embrace that. I feel, you know, it would be generally well received. But that seems
I
to have
would
gone
like
quiet
it.
too. Yeah, like Eric said, Eric is like a trio person like me. He would like to see three people, and if it's going to be any of them, Momoko seems to be the most likely, you know. But yeah, it seems that the Avenger thing is maybe not going to be continued. I feel, because even the word Avenger was in relating to Metal Galaxy. Do you know what I mean? The Avengers of the Galaxy, whatever. So in the new era, like, who knows what the new era is going to be? Maybe there's not going to be the same, you know, galaxy, space, sun, moon, you know, theme. Maybe it's going to be something different. And
Yeah.
it does seem to be like it's going to be Sue and Moa. And I think maybe that they will have like support dancers, but they won't name them. They'll be like
Yeah, I, w- I,
have
w-
masks
I
or
was
be
going to say that
anonymous. You know?
we saw quite a different setup for the Budokan shows where
Yeah, completely
they
different.
had three little girls dancing with Moa, and Moa took center stage. I'd like to see that more
Yeah,
going forwards.
for the Black Babymetal song, she had her little minions, shall we say, and there was some speculation out there that some of the members were former SG or former Amuse um, members. People did forensic analysis on some screenshots they took from the DVDs. So, yeah, there was just some theories. There was no proof really given on any of those, or no certainty. So, I feel like they will always have like support dancers and things like that, so they can do the trio songs, or Moa can do her solos and Sue can do her solos. You know, but yeah, I don't know if they will ever like have Avengers again or name an official third. It feels like it's just going to be very Sumo centric going
Yeah.
forward, and they'll bring other bits in to kind of make the performance work around that core of Sue and Moa. You know.
Yeah. I'd very much like a third. I'm very much with you two here. I think a third just looks more aesthetically pleasing having three of them on stage. I just think it's like, you know, it's nice to see. But I don't mind them going forward as a duo, to be honest. I my only thing with, if they're going to go forward as a duo, then I want to see Moa have more of an input to the next album, whether or not that be more vocals, more like maybe one or two songs dedicated to her. This was my problem with Metal Galaxy that I didn't
Yeah.
like. As much as I love Sue, and obviously Sue's amazing at everything she does,
Mhm.
it was to Sue. I mean, with the other two albums, we had obviously Yui there with Moa, and they had their own thing, and it was a nice little break from the usual stuff. And Metal Galaxy was just a little bit too Sue.
Yeah.
It didn't have that. It didn't have that wacky little element to it, or that little change that was in the other two albums that I thought was a little bit lacking. So if they're moving forward and they're doing that, then that's something I would like to see. For Moa, what are your thoughts, Eric, on like obviously Moa performing Black Babymetal by herself? Is that like, does that hurt? Obviously, I can say that with the Yui picture in the background.
We got a big Yui fan here.
Black Babymetal is a duo, and a special duo to me. It's okay. I like Momo singing. She got a great voice. I love that voice actually. But Black Babymetal is Black Babymetal. That is you and Moa. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, I know there's a lot of people who feel kind of quite strongly about that, and they wouldn't feel comfortable with, more with somebody else and calling that Black Babymetal. They would feel that was kind of be, I guess trying to erase like Yui's legacy in the band, which was obviously great. She left us in 2018 officially, but she's still very much loved and appreciated by the fans. So yeah, I can totally understand where people will be like, no, Black Babymetal is Yui and Moa, and they can maybe have a different duo and call it something else, but they should kind of leave Black Babymetal where it is and not kind of mess with that. You know what I mean? So
yes,
I fully understand that.
This is the one thing I disagree with. I'm the odd one out here. I love Black Babymetal. I absolutely, it's one of my favorite things to do with them. And I don't like the thought of it being sidelined. I want it back. I seen the Budokan, obviously the Budokan shows with Moa with the 4 different girls. And I was so hyped for that. I enjoyed that. Obviously,
it was amazing.
It was amazing.
Like her GJ and her Onidaddy Daiseskin, awesome. She nailed it. That was
like I feel like if they, let's say like they did get a third member and they brought Black Babymetal back, I feel like it needs to be handled probably the right way. Like the old songs that were performed with Yui, I feel like should just be Moa only songs. Like put Moa in there, have the little girls there or something like that, and then just keep that songs just Moa centric. And then if you create new songs with this other person, whoever it is, if there's another person, this is a big if, then have them to do the newer songs and just have Moa do the ones that she did with Yui. If they go the route which it's looking more and more likely of just the future of Moa and Sue, then just keep it with just Moa having those Black Babymetal moments and then move forward with that. Because I don't, as much as it sucks not having Yui there, I don't think it's tarnishing it or anything like that because Moa was still a part of those. And personally, I will take any Black Babymetal sections I can get.
Yeah.
So I would like it to continue in some form. It might not be the original form, but as long as Moa's performing and she gets the spotlight for those parts, I'm happy with that. So.
But just back to a point, Neon, if you don't mind, like what you were saying about the duo, that maybe Metal Galaxy was a bit too Sue-centric. Now, I'm someone who will never complain about something being too Sue-centric because I'm a big Sue fan. But, but yeah, no, I agree that if it is to go forward as a duo, that it needs to be more balanced. You know what I mean? They need to like give Moa her own kind of time on stage and for her to do songs. Because if it is the way it is kind of with Metal Galaxy, where it's kind of like a Sue solo album with like Moa doing some backing vocals and things like that, I don't think that really kind of works going forward. If you're going to have a true duo, you need to have more balance to it. You know what I mean? So if that means Moa having a couple of songs, I'm all for that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But they kind of have to make her a more equal part of Babymetal, not as it kind of seems with Metal Galaxy that she's just kind of a secondary member. Do you know what I mean? And not a part of a duo with Sue, who's the lead. You know, so.
Well, like you said, like we joke in the Discord every time we talk about that album, and you say, hey, take Moa out that album, and
that's just my joking,
like
sarcastic,
the album,
ironic,
the album doesn't,
personality.
the album doesn't change really, does it? It was that Sue centric. I'm not saying that's like Moa needs her own songs or anything. Even if they did like a 10-track album and that, I just, as long as she gets a little bit more in the 10 songs that are in there, that's fine. Even if it's only like 30 seconds of Moa singing one verse or one line, that's more than what like the entirety of the last album. That's I'm not asking for more. It's just, you know, a little
and like
bit,
some people have actually voiced concern about that with the snippets, because we've had three of the songs that have had some lyrics in it now. And it seems to be like 100% Sue singing, like not even with any kind of Moa screams or Moa backing. So some people are like, you know, what the hell is going on here? Is this going to be just another Sue album?
that is something
I'm not complaining about, but some people don't quite like that. They like Moa to be doing more vocally. So
yeah, that does concern me a little bit.
We'll see what happens.
But we'll see what happens. What's your take on that, Eric? Are you happy with just like Sue being more the vocal point again? I mean, she was always the vocal point, but how do you feel about Moa getting more of a take in whatever album comes out?
As I said, I love Moa's voice. I'm glad to hear more of her. And well, Sue has a unique voice.
True.
I told you that in chat earlier. You know what I think about that.
Yeah.
So I think choosing songs for Moa is the most important thing. Don't give her songs made for Sue. That would be a big mistake. You can't compare the voices.
No.
Yeah.
So,
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's true. And like I said, as long as we get that little sort of section of Moa love, then I'm happy. I would like it to have a little bit more. Maybe it's more of a dream, than reality or expectations. I mean, if Sue bangs every song at the park, for all 10 tracks, nobody's going to complain, really. We're all going to love it. It's, at the end of the day.
People will complain. People love complaining, especially Babymetal fans. So, yeah, they will definitely complain about it regardless.
But it's just, you want to see more from Moa. That's it. You know, I just worry a little bit for the live shows as well. I don't quite know if they go with the duo thing, how that's going to work. You know, like with her dancing on stage. I mean, it's been done before. Obviously, when Yui was hurt her back or whatever. You know, we had a couple of shows with Moa just by herself. So it's not like it's not been done, but like we've all said before, it's just aesthetically pleasing to have 3 girls on a stage or have a backing group there as well. It's more exciting. So I don't quite know how that's going to work like live, which is another reason why I want to see Moa have just a little more of an input, even if it's just a few shouts or one verse, just something to do when she's on the stage or live, that she can draw a crowd and have that moment a little bit more. So I'm kind of thinking of it that way as well. But yeah. So we're going to end the Babymetal talk here. We will come back to it, though, near the end, once we start taking questions and stuff like that. So people in chat, if you want to think of a few questions or subjects that you want to ask us about Babymetal, make sure to think about it now and we'll circle back to it and talk a little bit about Babymetal in that one. But first, I'm going to pick Eric's brain. We've got a few subjects to talk about. Obviously, he's been graced. I haven't been to a gig yet since lockdown. I've had a few opportunities. I was meant to go and see Sabaton, but unfortunately that gig got cancelled, so that's not there till next year now.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's switching up the background.
Yeah, he's switching up. He's preparing. I'm hoping to go and see Godsmack next month, hopefully. So that I'm kind of excited for that. Need to buy my tickets first, but that's the plan anyway. But Eric had the awesome opportunity to go and see another up and coming group that's been touring around called Necronomidol. I always struggle with the name of that. Yeah, I always struggle
for this pronunciation.
I know that band name gets me every single time. Necronomidol. There we go. Probably butchered that as well. But you had a lovely time going to see the band. How was the show? What was that like?
I love the show. First of all, necronom comes from the book Necronomicon.
Necro. I keep thinking of Evil Dead.
Necronomicon. Okay. And then they put the word idol in the back. Necronomidol.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
Learning life lessons. Necronomidol.
Yes. And it was an amazing show. Or is it that we have been out of shows for 3 years now? 2, 3, yes. And I loved it. They had fun at stage. That's very important.
Yeah.
The Japanese band, well done dances. They used all of the stage was used as a big light show.
Oh wow!
So the ladies were more into a shadow, but you saw it all. It was amazing to see it.
Yeah.
They had 2 big screens on the side, so I know we had people far behind. They saw the whole show too. Because the stage wasn't really big, but I just loved it.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I had some issues with some things, and I say sound. I think they hadn't had the time they needed to sound check.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, a famous Babymetal concert we all talk about.
Glastonbury.
It was about that quality. One thing I noticed that they didn't have earpieces. They used monitors on stage and singing, dancing with hand mics. We had a few what you call it overdrives. No, it's another word. Sun goes around. You know what I mean.
We know what you mean, yeah.
You know what I mean. And the singer, Himari, she has a great voice, strong voice, and they seem to have set all the mics at her voice. So the other 3 girls, they was a bit quiet. You heard them, but they was
Right.
Yeah.
Sound issue.
They wasn't equal.
Yeah.
But if you cut that part, I must say it was a great show, and I wish you guys would have been with me there.
No, for sure.
Sounds awesome.
We're going back next year, and then we're going to be there all 4 days.
Oh,
I
nice.
still got the band.
Oh man, I know that feeling. You have the wristband and you just don't want to take it off because the concert's not really over until you take off the wristband.
Yeah.
You're still in that zone, you just don't want to take it off. So
I'm always like
I can
that.
feel
If I go to a festival, I gotta wear the band up until like the day before that year's one. So
I know the feeling.
Yeah, it's on my wrist for as long as it can be before the next year's festival. Then once that's been, it's gotta go. Yeah, it's gone.
And I noticed one more thing. It's been a long time since I've been to a live gig, because I had pain in my bone muscles like hell the day after.
Ooh. Concert pains.
But it's worth it.
I'm not looking forward to that sensation returning either. Like, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
What was the crowd like? What was everybody hyped like for that as well? Because considering all the bands that have been touring, probably all the Japanese bands and probably the ones I could think of off the top of my head, Necro they're kind of up and coming, I think a little bit. So
Yeah.
what was their like reception like to that?
At the NADCon, they were hyped. I mean, before they opened the gates to the main stage, it was a queue about 200 meters.
Mm.
So it was a real hype. It was announced very much around the area in NADCon's homepage, etc.
Yeah.
And Twitter, etc. We could follow every step they took through Europe until they come to Sweden.
Ah, nice.
So it was
cool.
real fun.
That's
And
cool.
I shared some photos in Discord, as you know.
Yeah.
And there you see what I meant by using the light on stage to the motions in songs really was pushed into the audience. And that's one thing I think of what you have talked about, Neon. Was it what group? You say they don't have contact with the audience on stage.
Rolling Quartz. Yeah.
Rolling Quartz. Yes,
Rolling
that's
Quartz.
right.
Okay.
These girls do have contact.
Yeah.
I can say.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of songs, they started to wave at special persons. I got a wave. And they made the audience be fun in the show.
Yeah.
And I've seen other Japanese groups do the same thing. Babymetal does it. Atareshi Gakko does it. Involve the audience. And
like
so,
that's been a
just
criticism
for anybody watching as well, a little bit of context to that. We did a few reactions on my Twitch channel for Rolling Quartz. One of my biggest criticisms was from the concert that we watched, by the way. They've done some amazing shows, but the one concert that we watched, which is I think the most recent one, the crowd was a little bit underwhelming, and I said that their stage presence probably needed a little bit of work. I said they were very, very samey. There was just not enough momentum in their performance to get the crowd hyped. I thought the crowd was very, very static. That's a two-way street, though. You know, you gotta, as an artist, I feel like you need to like get the people that your crowd pumped. But I also feel like as a crowd as well, you need to be pumped and give them the band something to feed off as well at the same time. I think it's a two-way street. But I was very.
It's definitely a two-way thing. Like
so
that's one of the criticisms that people have of Babymetal, like that you're just there to watch them and they don't really engage with you that much. If you compare those to a band like Necro, as Eric said, or a band like Band-Maids, they're like super engaging with the crowd. You know what I mean? And they take kind of pauses or to do little kind of skits or crowd involvement things in between songs. So a lot of Japanese bands seem to do that. Whereas, like you said, like Rolling Quartz, who are like a Korean girl rock band, they're not that engaging with their fans at all, and it's just like
again, not saying that Rolling Quartz isn't engaging. It's just saying from the one gig that I was reacting to, that show it was just a little bit underwhelming audience, and I criticized them a little bit just for that. But again, there could be clips out there where the crowds go wild, so it differs from show to show. But a little bit of context to that comparison. I feel like Babymetal's a slightly different beast though when they go live. I feel I know it's like a band as well, but I feel like it's a performance as well. You go in there to see the dance and the songs, and when everybody goes for like the one and stuff like that. So it is engaging in its own way. Even if they're not interacting with the crowd, like one on one, they have their whole set built around, like I said, everybody singing the one, everybody, they have their own sort of way of engaging and doing that. So I have no problems with Babymetal for that thing. So it's nice to hear that Necro can do that. I like bands like that. I like bands that come out of their comfort zone, that interact with the people on the front. Give their body and soul to their performance and stuff. Not every band can do that, and it's tiring, especially when you're on a tour and you play the same song for the 1,000th time, to the same old drunk man, that's on the front row for the 100th time. It can get a bit repetitive. So I like those artists that really kind of give their heart and soul to the performance when they're doing it live, because that's what you're there for. That's what I vibe off. That's what the crowd should vibe off. You know, you go there to see a performance, to create memories. You want something spectacular for that, you know, and in a very selfish way. And you know, some bands can't replicate that every show. It's really hard. And then you get those people that are just like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then you come away smiling. So it's you know, it differs from band to band and setup to setup, but it's yeah, it's one of the standout points of one of the reasons why you do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, it was I liked that thing. We're gonna touch on the Necro a little bit more as well, because obviously we've had some news. It's fitting that I invited Eric on to this, because we had a little bit of news, some unfortunate news. You know, for artists in Japan at the minute, it's been really, really hard, obviously, to see the Necro incident, which we're about to talk about now. We also had the Rum Kicks as well, that were also touring UK, who had their money stolen from their manager.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
I didn't know about this now. So
yeah,
this
so
news to me.
they had money and stuff stolen at the minute. It seems to be like a really hard
that,
time for Japanese acts at the minute. It's just to kind of like tour and to make some money and sort of like mental well-being as well, I want to say, because touring's not for everybody. I feel like a lot of people don't realize this. It's the fame, the glamour, and the money that comes with obviously being a band is, you kind of like, oh, I want that, but then you don't realize that, like, literally, like, you know, 20 hours of your 24-hour day is spent in a truck that you can't stretch your legs with your bandmates. And let's be honest, not every bandmate likes the people they're in the band with, you know. That happens. The people, you have disagreements, or one could be hyper, or you don't get on with one, or one starts to annoy you. You've got to be with that person for you know, for effectively a year in a cramped space, and got to get on with them, you know. That's the reality of that situation a little bit, and not everybody can do that. Some bands last 50 freaking years and have no problems, and then some bands can be on the road for 6 months and go, nah, fuck this shit, I'm done. you know. But we have a little bit of a different sort of issue with this one, which I'm going to bring up. This was released from the girls. I'm gonna just skim through this, but they said, like, thank you for all the fans, staff, and friends who helped with necronomidol. There we go. That still popped it up. With the European tour to make it a huge success. We're so grateful for everybody to come see, for all the dedication and hard work of the individuals behind the scenes. Unfortunately, there were some issues arose during the tour that affect the future of the group going forward. Determining the best way to proceed in light of these events required quite a bit of thought after our return from the tour, but I'm finally able to make an announcement regarding them. During the tour, there was a day where scheduled events including Hamari, solo performance alone. Hamari, the events. Anyway, I'm gonna skim through this because it's a massive announcement. I'll leave the link for this because otherwise I'll be here for like half an hour reading all this. But basically the meat of it is one of the band members did a stream on their phone and gave away really, really personal information, opinions of their bandmates whilst they were performing on her Instagram account. Basically, one of the band members found out about this, sort of left the band hotel without telling anybody, and tried to get a flight back to Japan. They were caught by the lead singer or the producer, literally outside the airport, told to come back to the band, and they sort of started it out. But they finished their shows, and I believe the person who it was with the Instagram account, who was it was Hisui. I'm so Insui. There we go. I'm kind of getting. I'm getting better.
And she published information about Meika. That Meika was the one that she quit. Didn't tell manager or staff or anyone.
Or anything.
Just take her bags and went to the airport.
Yeah, so I believe what's happened now is the band have talked about it. They reconvened, and I believe she is leaving right now, and the band's going on hiatus, which is really unfortunate. Straight after a what is effectively your sort of breakout tour. I mean, that's the last thing any band would want. Obviously, to release personal information about anybody, it might not be the most damning thing, but obviously you break contracts there. There's NDAs. You got to think of your bandmates, their personal information. This is all stuff you realistically should know better not to do. But unfortunately, it happened. Kind of like, what are your thoughts on that, Eric?
Every band has that one troublemaker that leaves early and ruins it for the rest of them.
Now, my thoughts, as it's the manager that wrote this, and he's the one who built the band. It's from 2014, and he had the same idea as Koba. This band goes on the kawaii metal too.
Yeah.
But he said straight out, it's going on hiatus, or he may just disband the whole band.
Yeah.
That's what they thinking of right now. And seeing them once, I say it's like a drag. I want to see them more. I hope they fix the problems.
I do as well. Would you be up for them returning maybe with a new format or something? It seems again, it baffles my mind because I know obviously there's no excuse sort of for what she did. I feel her leaving the band is probably a little drastic if I'm being honest. But then again, I think once you betray the trust of your bandmates, I think that's it. To be honest, it's hard to come back from that. So I'm surprised they're taking hiatus. I would have thought they would have just finished the tour, made them money. Obviously,
they're going to finish the tour. They have two concerts left.
Concerts left. Oh, is that it? I read that they were doing the two, but I didn't know if they shortened the tour. So there you go. So they will effectively finish it and then go on hiatus. I personally hope to see them back. I wish them the best of luck as well. I've been reacting to some of their videos on my channel, which you guys can watch if you're watching this on YouTube. And I find them absolutely amazing. Again, definitely in that category of Babymetal, where they're a little bit surprising, a little bit different, way more metal and hardcore than Babymetal, but also have, just as talented, I think. So it's a shame to see such raw talent sort of end before it really kind of got started, because I feel like we're not going to see the best of them. And if I'm going to be honest, I feel like this hiatus needs to be a short one for them. I feel like they need to go away, sort their shit, and then come back in like 2 months with like knowing what they're going to do. Otherwise, I feel like any momentum that they've made over the past year, which I feel like they've done pretty well, I feel like it's going to die pretty crap. And I hope that they don't massively rotate the roster as well. If they lose one girl, maybe replace her with another and just get on with it, I think. But there seems to be a few issues, I think, with the band in general. I mean, I know that the one girl obviously leaked the information, but then you've got another band member who just doesn't tell anybody that she's getting the flight back to Japan. That doesn't strike me as the most professional mindset. So I feel like there's multiple issues, I think, maybe with the girls in that band, not just the personal leak of information. So that may be where his mindset is. Maybe it is best maybe just to shut it down and that's it. But at the same time, I hope not, because there is talent there. There's definitely something different, I think, that could go on to be big. But I definitely feel like there's a few problems, I think, behind the scenes there for sure.
Yeah, like hopefully they work things out, and whatever issues this girl has with the band or her role in the band, that they resolve it, for the benefit of them as a band and for their fans in Japan and overseas, So Eric has obviously seen them once and had a great time. I'm sure he'd love to see them again. Maybe they come back to Europe next year, and so maybe we get a chance to see them as well. We haven't seen them.
Yeah,
so,
that was one of the bands. That was one of the bands that were on my wish list as well to go and see for sure.
Nice.
So like the prospect of now never being able to see them potentially is, yeah, it's quite heartbreaking, because I would have loved to go and go
Yeah.
there and rock out. So yeah, that's a bit gutted. But then again, I suppose Eric can sit here a bit smugly now, knowing that he's like the one that got, the one that got to see them. So there's that as well.
That's
Yeah.
one thing.
We have one other thing. We don't know what kind of information she leaked. It can be something that even I just would have taken my bags and just left.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be something like deeply personal about, like,
Yeah.
her family or her relationships or something like that, and it might
Yes,
really
Paul.
hurt.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, so exactly, like if it's that kind of information, I'm gonna get a bit criticized here to do not enough research. But I think if it's personal information that's enough to make a band member upset, then it's sort of best just respecting their privacy and not really kind of knowing a little bit.
But Neon, you can do all the research you like. We don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
There is not written anywhere what information it was.
Like I said, if it's enough for her to leave, and it's enough for a band member to outright just leave the band and try to fly back to Japan, then you've got to assume that it's pretty meaningful information that's been shared there.
Something serious. Like.
Something serious, yeah. Like that's pretty desperate measures, I think, for information, whatever it is. So you got to assume there, I think, the worst, and think that it's something not nice or not pleasant, So
I'm just looking at the chat there. One of the regulars, the mod queen herself, Lucky, has mentioned there that once trust is broken, then then it could be a situation of, well, how now the lid is off, and then it's just out of control. Yeah, so like as Eric said, we don't know what was said or what was shared, but it must be something pretty major if it led to her trying to leave the band and go back to Japan, or for them to kind of say, we can't go on like this, and we need to take a hiatus and like reassess where we are. Do we want to continue? Like, do they want her back after, putting out maybe sensitive information? So that could be
the emotion.
That they can't.
Emotions were definitely running there. I feel like it was probably not handled the most professionally, not only by the band members themselves, obviously, one, for leaking personal information or whatever it is that was leaked that hurt another band member in such a way, but also the band member that got hurt, although I'm not condoning it because obviously they've been emotionally affected. But you don't just leave your band, not tell your producer you go in and try to catch the first flight back to Japan. There's a professional way to do that as well. So you got to go to your producer and say, hey, look, have you heard what she's posted? Like, what's going on here? Like there's ways around that, a little bit, which again makes me believe that it's not just one thing within that band. I feel like they're probably just a few of them maybe are a little bit maybe immature is probably the right word to use. So hopefully that gets sorted as well, and like I said, touring's not for everybody, especially with the people you got to go. I feel like, especially in Japan, I feel like most Japanese or even Asian bands, they, although most of them are very, very nice people and they get on with each other very, very much, you find that most of them don't know each other. They kind of get thrown together a little bit more. It's more of the company and the labels go, right, we're going to get you, put you together and make you a thing, and you're just going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to like that person you're performing with, which is not for everybody. It's vastly different to the Western, where like you kind of make your own band and your own friends, and then you try to get signed by a label. It doesn't always work like that. Obviously, labels take popular girls to make bands and stuff all the time, so it's not like it's rare or anything. But yeah, it must be hard to be with like 5 random people and go, hey, you're touring the world with these people, because you don't know whether or not you're gonna like them. You don't know whether or not the person next to you isn't he's a fucking idiot. You know, or they chew on some peanuts too loudly on the tour bus, and you sat like that. You gotta effectively live with this person, all the time, and it can get to you. It can get to that, and especially if somebody does that as well, it can be the last straw, and you'll be like, nah, fuck this, I'm out. So yeah, it could be different. It's a bit of a weird situation because it's not something that usually gets done before, especially streaming it on somebody's Instagram as well, to followers of the band or her followers as well. It's an awkward one. You don't really see that too much, which is a noteworthy thing to talk about. And again, it's just a goddamn shame for a band that I feel was sort of up and coming and sort of getting a little bit of momentum, and because of two stupid decisions, we now don't know if they're ever coming back. So
that's all you can really say about it. I mean, just you kind of have to. It's like, I guess Babymetal just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
So I guess that's as much as you can say about that.
The difference between these two hiatuses, and again going back to the Love Bites hiatus as well, is with the Babymetal hiatus and the Love Bites hiatus, you always knew they were always. You were fairly confident they were always coming back. You just knew they were taking a break. Babymetal, because they obviously I feel like they were losing the Avengers, and they needed to restructure a little bit. Had a bit of time to like reorganize what they're gonna do after Metal Galaxy, which is which I feel like was needed. Love Bites, obviously, they had the issues with Mio. And they need to now find a new bassist. So they're obviously taking the time. So you got no doubts that Babymetal and Love Bites were coming back. But with Necro, you honestly, you don't know, do you? You don't know whether they're coming back. So it could be the end.
Babymetal is like, you feel they have so much more to give. Do you know what I mean? Like, even though Babymetal have been on the road for like 10, 12 years now, they're still like 24 and 23. So you just feel like they have so much more to give. Do you know what I mean? And that's why people can't even kind of fathom that they would just stop and quit, because that's like, why would you? You have this amazing thing going. You have so much more to give. The fans want more. So, if they want to keep doing it, like, why not keep doing it, So.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on to some more positive stuff now. Band members that are getting along and are killing it at the minute. Band-Maid released a awesome anime music video the other day. Have you guys seen it?
Yes, it's very fun.
It's
definitely moving on to the positive.
The positives. I absolutely loved it. Joke. I'm gonna throw a bit of a shady joke here, but seeing we haven't had any Babymetal content, we've had Unseen World and now a new EP from Band-Maid. They're just absolutely cranking content out. It feels like only yesterday to me Unseen World was here and I was covering it and doing an album review, and it's like we got another EP.
Great album.
Another EP, and that's not on top of like Klopu and stuff like that Miku's been doing as well. So it's just been balls to the wall for them. They've been working hard. Awesome music video. I really loved it. Loved the anime style to that as well. I thought it was absolutely great song as well. Great song. I said, obviously I did my live review when the song got released, and it's really hard trying to react to a song you only hear once and give your opinions about. But some of the things I didn't pick up the first time, like some of the Easter eggs as well. I picked up a few first time viewing, like obviously the miso flask and a few others, but some of them I didn't spot. Was a cane with the bananas in the background. That was really hard to spot as well. It took me one or two times to go through that and spot that. I was like, bloody hell, but the anime style was really well done, and I really enjoyed it. I would love to see more of that from them, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. The song itself was amazing. I'd say a little bit of an evolution from Unseen World. It was definitely getting a little bit faster, a little bit more. I feel like they've discovered their style now as well. Where like the first couple of albums, I thought they were sort of experimenting a little bit, trying to find their sound. But I feel like they're sort of getting there now. We sort of know what we're gonna get with Band-Maid, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I freaking love it. Talking about a man who I know who loves it so much that he's going halfway across the world to go and see them. Mr. Paul, I wish I had your money. It's not making that YouTube dollar yet.
I don't have it. I don't have money. What are you talking about? No, like I would say I'm a relatively kind of recent convert to Band-Maid, even though I've known about them for a long time.
I remember the days you used to give them some flack, and how that's changed now.
There we go. So obviously Eric has been to a concert recently, and it was the first one that he's been to for a long time. Like myself personally, I haven't been to a concert since Babymetal were last in London, and that was February of 2020. So normally around this time of year, if Babymetal were active, I would make a kind of an annual journey to Japan to see whatever they're doing in September and October. So they're not doing it at the moment, so I turn my attention to the Band-Maid US tour. So yeah, basically I'm gonna go to over to New York, and they're going to play 3 shows around the New York area. So the first one will be in Philadelphia, then 2 days later in New York City, 2 days later in New York City, and then, well, I would say provisionally now, a few days later in New Jersey. Now, the reason I say provisionally is because the venue that they're playing in New Jersey is like apparently in like serious financial trouble. It's like the American Dream Mall, and that might actually be shut down. So they might actually be in a position where they're looking for another venue. But basically, yeah, 3 concerts across 5 or 6 days in the US. So yeah, that's my big trip this year, and yeah, very much looking forward to seeing the girls live. I've never seen them before. It's going to be like nice small venues. I think the shows are going to be like pretty long shows, pretty interactive. They're going to play like all their songs, and I really want to see Psyche perform.
Yeah.
One thing that like really got me interested in Band-Maid was a recent performance that they did. It was actually an acoustic performance. I think we watched it on your show, Neon, and it really showed the individual talents of the members. Psyche and Miku, who are the lead vocalists, but also like their musicians as well, who maybe don't sing much, but they contribute a lot to the band. So yeah, she's awesome. Miku is a great character, very talented musician. She can also sing as well. So yeah, I think seeing them live is going to be a pretty awesome experience. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I know. I'm jealous, man. I was kind of hoping they'd come to the UK. To be honest, I feel like we always have to wait the longest sometimes for our American brothers. But yeah,
I have a theory around that, like about why some of these bands are like going to America to tour and not coming to Europe. So like when you're in America, like it's one country, okay, they have the one set of like COVID like restrictions, or that you need to be vaccinated, or you need to take like PCR tests or whatever. Whereas if you go to Europe, you're dealing with like 8, 10, 15 different countries with different rules and different things like that. So maybe it's harder for bands to come to Europe and have to deal with all that shit, paperwork and tests and stuff like that, and comply with different sets of rules. Whereas in America, it's one country, and it's big markets, big cities, music savvy.
It's money to be made though as well.
I mean, it's America. It has, it's the land of money and opportunity and stuff like that. So yeah, it makes sense for bands to kind of promote themselves in America. If you make it there, you're making it.
If you can make it in America, you can make it anywhere.
America,
America's the golden goose, isn't it? That's the place where the money is, where the fans are. They've got the numbers. If you can crack America, then you've pretty much made it, I think. So yeah, it's fun to see bands, or particularly more Asian bands, kind of traveling over to the States. What's really impressed me the most, probably with COVID, which is really, really weird, is how much attention said bands is getting in the US. I feel like pre-COVID that wasn't really the case. Even Babymetal, to an extent, I didn't feel like got as much hype as they probably should have in the States compared to like Europe, or more specifically the UK and stuff, where like some of the big festivals are, where they get proper loved. But now
that's the thing, Leon. Like people, like music fans, people who love live music are like like starving dogs. As soon as they get
Yeah.
like some kind of live music, some kind of show, they're just going to eat that up. Do you know what I mean? So it's, yeah, appetite for live music and
Yeah.
shows is huge now, because people just haven't had that for so long.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I feel like
that's it.
it's like the winds of change though a little bit as well. I feel like the music scene's like over the last 3 or 4 years, especially since I've been on YouTube now, what, 4 years? Whew, Jesus Christ, still not 100 subscribers yet. Subscribe. But yeah, I feel like the music scene's drastically changed already in that short time. Where opinions I definitely have changed with Japanese artists, I think, and more so, never more so than I feel like with America at the minute. It seems, I think YouTube, I think the reaction scenes really helped with that. It sort of get some of these bands a little bit more recognition. So it's nice to see all these bands sort of like touring a little bit more and getting that little bit of hype over there. What kind of bands would you like to see sort of crack America, Eric? You're muted, dude. Oh,
Am I muted?
oh, there we go. We can hear you now.
No, I hear you
There
now.
we go. We hear you
Okay.
now. Yeah, it
Okay.
wasn't coming through for a second.
Okay. Bands I would see. I won't see them in Europe, not in America. I
Good
want
answer. Good answer.
I want Band-Maid to Sweden. I want more necro. I want, of course, Babymetal. And I want them to Europe. I want to see them here. I can't go to the US or States, what you call them.
Mm.
Please, if you see this, come here. Sweden is nice.
The Swedish views, man, are beautiful.
That's good.
So
Yeah, like I feel the same. Obviously, it's much easier to see these bands in Europe. From being in Ireland, it's like a lot of bands just don't come to Ireland. So the next best thing is like London or Manchester or Cardiff for me. So yeah, a UK tour for any of these bands would be brilliant for me. I'd gladly travel over to the UK and see some shows. Do you know?
yeah, for sure. I'd like probably touch on what we were talking about the music scene changing. I think what a big factor to like the Asian market, as much as we probably don't want to admit it or not, has been probably the success of like more of the Japanese pop bands as well. Like we're obviously talking BTS and stuff that 4 years ago were relatively unknown and massive now, huge everywhere. UK,
Korean
Europe,
bands.
yeah, like that kind of stuff as well. Has really kind of like I think helped shed a light, just Asian music in general, which
Yeah.
has been absolutely amazing. You know, so it doesn't matter where they're from, Japan, Korea, Philippines, like just having that exposure now has benefited like just the whole music scene in general over there. Because I always felt
Yeah.
like the Japanese music scene was kind of condensed. You'd get like one or two bands that would break out, but it would be its own sort of like bubble a little bit. And
Yeah.
I feel like as time is sort of going on now, I feel like that bubble is starting to
Yeah, but
starting to
that comes
disappear a
down
bit.
to like this. That comes down to the size of the Japanese music market. Like Japan is massive. Like you literally don't need to be successful anywhere else. If you have a big enough following in Japan, like that's all you really need. So it's rare that bands go overseas. And like I think when some bands tour overseas, it's not really about being bigger overseas. It's about I guess getting the stamp of approval from the overseas music community that kind of influences fans back in
Yeah,
Japan to bite. You know, I feel that's really what happened with Babymetal. Like Babymetal didn't really blow up in Japan until metal fans in Japan saw their success overseas. They saw, you know, the videos coming back from Sonosphere in London. They saw the videos coming back from the Forum in Kentish Town. Like that was the Forum and Brixton. Those were the first two shows overseas that were recorded and released DVDs and things like that. And yeah, Babymetal just like grew massively in Japan after having a bit of success overseas.
yeah,
And like the biggest kind of changeover I noticed from that was in 2014, before going overseas, Babymetal played Budokan. Now Budokan is about 10,000 people in the audience. But then when they were coming back to Japan, like making a big comeback in Japan at the start of 2015, all of a sudden they were playing like SSA, Saitama Super Arena, which is like 25,000. So you just saw like how much they grew because they got like this exposure overseas, and it gave the Japanese fans like, okay, these are not just like popular in Japan, like the Europeans and the Americans are co-signing Baby Metal, and that's partly the reason why they took pictures with as many metal bands and as many popular idols as they could, just to kind of say, look at us, everyone in Europe loves us, everyone in America loves us, fans back in Japan, you should respect us too. Like, here's a picture of us with Lady Gaga, here's a picture of us with Metallica, we're at these festivals, we're respected, we're loved, we're well received in the metal community. So that gave them that big boost in Japan.
So like I said, I just feel like that bubble's kind of going a little bit. So it's nice to see like Band-Maid getting that recognition, I think, in the US. And I'm super excited for this EP. I'll be honest, like I didn't even know anything was coming, and then they drop a music video, a new EP. That was the last thing I was expecting for them. I was expecting them to go quiet for a while, or I was expecting Miku to focus on her solo stuff a little bit more, because she's been dropping a couple of songs from that recently. So just to see them drop new content, again, maybe it's not so soon after Unseen World, but it feels still so fresh. So to see them drop that and then say, hey, we got a new EP coming out, is I was kind of blown away with that. That's like the best start, and then obviously with the touring and stuff like that. Going on to other bands that I would like to see, obviously, kind of come out and kind of tour now. For me personally, Love Bites is a big one. Band-Maid, I haven't seen Band-Maid yet, and I haven't seen Love Bites, and for me, those two are the biggest sort of bands that I want to check off my list of wish list of bands to see right now, because they both just look amazing. For different aspects. Same with Eric, with the call to Sweden, UK, come to the UK, come here. It looks just amazing. I know obviously Love Bites probably have a few problems, but to be honest with you, I would not be surprised to see them get a new bassist and probably tour in the US first. Seems to be a real thing at the minute, where we see a lot of Asian bands just go straight to the US, tour there, take like a month break, and then they usually start a European tour. So we'll see sort of how that goes. Let me know in chat as well if you could pick a band out of your wish lists that you want to see live or touring. Let me know let us know in the comments, or if we see a few and we can pick out and talk about, we will do.
One band, as you know, I really would like to see is Atarashi Gakko. They are in US right now, and nothing about coming to Europe. I know.
Again, that goes back to what we were saying. It really seems to be they're really hammering. I don't know what it is the last, like you said, couple of years, but they seem to be really hammering that connection between Asian market and US right now. Which makes, obviously, like I said, us that want to go and see Gakko, that would love a European tour, really gutted, to be honest.
Like it's a big commitment to like go from Europe over to the US for just concerts, like, because it's not just the same as going to another EU country. Like, you have to get like a visa waiver, you have to organize flights and accommodation, which can often be very expensive. It's a big step. It's not a small thing to get on a plane and go to another country, like another continent, for a concert. So
the difference is, I feel like, a little bit as well, is like, when you're touring in America, like even if you go into like, I don't know, like Oklahoma, like I don't know, freaking Texas, Dallas or something, you play in front of 2,000 people, 3,000, 5,000 minimum for like these gigs and stuff like that. So, and sometimes it's different coming to Europe and playing in Lithuania or whatever, and playing for like 500 people in the smallest bar ever in the middle of nowhere, because there's no money to be made there sometimes. you want to play all these places, but sometimes it's
Yeah.
like logistically and financially it doesn't make sense sometimes, which is a little bit unfair with like European tours, because you get the standard, you get your Madrids, your Berlins, your Paris, your your London. There seems to be like
London, Berlin,
but you
Amsterdam.
get
These places.
Amsterdam, you get that like little circuit kind of going, which is kind of hard for like I said, Eric, like in Sweden sometimes kind of gets, let's be honest, shit on a little bit. They get the big city or the capital visit, and then that's it. They're gone. Which sucks. Especially when I see like big countries like Finland, Sweden, Norway get like 2 gigs for the entire country. Yet like England's like, a toenail compared to them. Yeah, we've got like Birmingham, Manchester, London, Cardiff, Glasgow. We've got about 18 gigs in like this tiniest fucking little country. As great as that is for me, I kind of look at that sometimes and go,
Yeah, I think though, like when Babymetal did their European tour in 2020, the first place they came was Sweden. Is that right, Eric?
Yes, it's Stockholm.
Yeah, they did
And
Stockholm.
I couldn't afford it.
Rotten bit of luck there, man.
Oh, everybody in chats now said England, because I said England. Sorry, the United Kingdom. I apologize. I hurt a few Scottish people's feelings with that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they want to be independent anyway. So. No politics, no politics. But like Babymetal did their first show in Sweden, and that like your first show was all the surprises. So you saw that they had Rio with them, who's the best Avenger, and then they debuted BMC for the first time in Stockholm. So like that was pretty cool. If I could go back in time and pick a show to be at on that tour, it would have been Stockholm. Because that's where everything was kind of new and a new song performed outside of Japan for the first time. So that was exciting,
Yeah, it kind of is, doesn't it? It definitely feels like, again, no offense, it definitely feels like Sweden's used for like, these kind of countries are used for like testers, I feel. That comes across as so insensitive, but the pattern's just there a little bit too much that I can't not say that it doesn't feel like that. Like I wish countries like Sweden, Norway, Finland, they deserve so much more. Which is the complete opposite to the metal scene in those countries. I feel like the metal scene, like that, is fucking fantastic. By the way, it's like that blows the rest of the world away. But for like tours from like foreign bands and stuff like that, sometimes they get neglected a bit, and that needs to change.
You got some band suggestions in the chat, Leon. Maybe we can.
Who have we got? I'll let you pick one out, Paul, because I'm a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Is there one that would be my kind of cup of tea?
Unlucky Morpheus. Yes.
Unlucky Morpheus.
Unlucky Morpheus.
Yeah.
That's another one on my checklist. Yes, thank you for that. They've gone a little bit quiet as of recently. I know they released a new music video a while back, but apart from that, I haven't really heard too much in them as of late. I don't know if that's just me not picking up the news and the cracks, but Unlucky Morpheus. Yes, please.
Loon suggested Raise a Sullian.
That's going to be an interesting one. I feel like that's a hard nut to crack. I feel like if they're gonna tour, then they're gonna need to be their own thing. And I know they are technically their own thing.
I don't feel they ever will go overseas.
It's because it's connected to the anime too much.
Very Japanese centric, you know what I mean?
But
if you don't know about the Banji Dream franchise, you're not really going to know about Raise a Sullian or
I don't know. I don't agree with that. I feel like Raise can be their own thing. I agree with the potential there. Like I honestly think that they could tour Europe and stuff, and they would be big. But I feel like the anime being attached to that is baggage a little bit. And when you think of a lot of the shows that they Raise do, obviously they have lots of special guests from other bands, and they do other band songs quite a bit for their live sets and stuff. And I'm thinking, well, how would that work on tour? Because would it? It's a bit of a hard one. I have no doubts that they could. Like, I honestly think if they got like 20 tracks down that were their own and sort of like their own separate entity, I totally think that they could smash it. It's just a case of I feel like it's more out of their hands. I don't think they're in control of their own fate a little bit. I feel like it's more of a producer or board decision than more of the band going out of their own. And I don't know if they think it's worth it. I feel like the only way we're gonna get like a raise gig is if they bring the whole franchise with them. Like they go to like London and it's gonna be like all of them. And like maybe like
a big anime convention,
like a big
anime
gig, yeah. I feel like that's the way that we're gonna be able to get to see them, which is a little bit unfortunate. But again, because it's attached to the anime and because it's part of a franchise, is that gonna sell like 80,000 tickets at Wembley? You know, that's the question. No. Is it worth it? I don't think it's quite there yet. Like they could.
I don't know if they have any kind of following overseas. I know they have some people that absolutely love, what they do, but I feel that's like a small group of people. Do you know what I mean? I don't think they would attract many like casual fans. You're either into that, you either love that, or you don't know about it. So
I feel like they've got the potential to do that. But I feel like like marketing needs to change, their demographic needs to change, their marketing push as a band needs to change.
Focused on that, like they're probably.
But they're not. Yeah, again, they're not focused on that. They're not there. Yeah, they're not doing that.
As I said, the Japanese market is so big, so they just don't really need to focus on bigging themselves up elsewhere. If you have a big enough following in Japan, you've made it. Like. I mean, and then it's a big effort. It's a big change to try and do that overseas. Like we even look at Babymetal, as much as they've kind of pushed themselves overseas. Once they got like really big overseas, and they kind of didn't know what to do with that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They had done Wembley, and they had come back, and then they did Tokyo Dome. But after that, it fell in 2017. They were like, okay, what do we do next?
I feel like Babymetal's the oddity, though. Like you said, they got big sort of overseas before they kind of like got big in Japan. For most bands and most of these franchises, especially when you're attached to it, like I said, a Japanese anime as well.
Yeah,
it's really hard to break out, that market. There's a good point from Hades who just said, like, if they're releasing the game, and if more people play the games and more people watch the shows and stuff like that, there's going to be a market there. There's definitely going to be people that watch it and people that know about them and stuff. I'm just trying to think if it's going to be big enough outside of Japan to make the conscious effort. I don't honestly. I don't have the answer to that. I feel like if they wanted to be separate bands, for me the two big ones are obviously Raze and Rosilia. So it's like them two. I feel like have the most potential outside of Japan because of the type of music that they play. But again, it's all about marketing and stuff like that. And at the minute I can't see it happening. Not right now, anyway. But the hope is always there. Like I said, not unless they bring the whole franchise with them, which I feel like they could maybe play like one show in England and then maybe one show in like New York or something like that. They'll hype it up for like the one show in that country. But apart from that, I can't see it happening too much.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the chat there. Lucky has actually said the band/singer that I would really want to see, and that's Lisa.
Oh,
Absolutely
Lisa.
Love Lisa.
Yeah, I love Lisa. Again, I feel like Lisa comes
not Lisa from Blackpink, but the real Lisa, the super talented, awesome, amazing Lisa. So, I would love to see her perform. That would be my one out of everything.
Yeah, she's another one, and again, I feel like she's the one that's got the most potential. And this is coming. I'm doing like a bit of a role reversal here because I just said about I've just said about like an anime band not being able to break out. But with Lisa, it's more of the reverse. Demon Slayer is worldwide anime, and
Awesome.
because she's done the song to that, I feel like she's going to be more well known. Plus, the
Yeah.
songs and the performances and everything that she does is a little bit more insane. And I feel like she could totally go and tour around the world and get that.
I think
The
so,
difference
too.
the difference between Lisa and Ray's is like you said, is purely comes down to
Talent.
our talent. I'll slap you. Rachel is awesome. No, it comes down to management. It comes up to the upper higher ups making the calls there. Like I feel like Lisa could go on tour and has more freedom to do that and more fans. Yeah, do that. I feel like it's harder for Ray's because I feel like the higher ups are focused on different goals than being a band. So it's kind of hard. But Lisa would be awesome. I totally watch.
I would
Lisa.
totally see Lisa like.
Yeah, I would as well.
Okay, that'd be class.
So, what about you, Eric? Is there?
I made an experiment on Facebook in a group that we have very metal influenced. I played the Roselia, I played the Razor Sweden, and they loved it. I think it's like you said, they can make it on their own. Loon wanted to ask me if I would like to see Poopy Pa. Of course I would, but no, it's the whole Bang Dream or D4DJ. I could make a whole concert with D4DJ. No problems.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, that would be another good one. So yeah, I just think it's because they're attached to a franchise. It's slightly different scenario for them, I think.
Yeah.
That's all. That's literally what it comes down to. Yeah, no doubts that they could make it. I just feel like it's higher ups not pushing for that goal. I feel like that they'll not reach it. Not that they couldn't. Just I think different priorities in the market.
Yeah.
Convention with them all would be amazing, to be honest. Oh, yeah, that would be. Yeah, unless it's something like amazingly fantastic, like big hype one-off show or something like that. I feel like it's going to be really hard to like draw people in, especially on like a massive tour. Not unless something crazy sort of happens. Also the anime thing sort of plays against them as well. Unlike Lisa, where she just does the opening song for Demon Slayer, doesn't really have any attachment to it, but she's known for that song because the song's great. Plus the anime's great. And I feel like with those bands, like if you don't like Band Dream, I feel like you're not going to be interested in the artists, as well. So that is it could be a positive because if you like the anime, you like the bands, but it could also be quite a negative. And not everybody's into watching, girls in dresses on stage, rock out. They'd rather no, it's true. They'd rather watch their animes or their hentai. That's that's the demographic. Guys want to watch blood and gore and swords and stuff like that. It's hard to break into that market. Or they want to watch girls with tentacles. It's a thing.
Okay.
Oh my god, we went there.
So yeah, I feel like they're like obviously trying to attract the attention of certain demographic or certain anime lovers is going to be hard as well. So that kind of plays against them. Neon and his tentacle porn. Hell yeah.
Neon, you're showing your freaky side there.
Oh my. Yeah, but yeah, so it's a little bit that works against them where I feel like Lisa's a little bit more leeway there. To be honest, and like I said, the Demon Slayer anime is critically acclaimed, pretty much worldwide. Yeah. You'll struggle to find an anime fan who hasn't seen or heard of Demon Slayer anywhere. So yeah, I feel like Lisa could totally vibe off that and be a bit more of a hit globally.
Definitely.
Sort of like Quartz's favorite band as well, Ruby. they've done animes and stuff like that. Again,
Yeah.
massively known animes, big hits. And you can sort of make a living off that. But again, it comes to the anime, and I feel like Band Dream it's not quite there. It's not on those anime levels in terms of global recognition. So it kind of hurts them a little bit for the again, the higher ups to say, hey, let's do a global tour because, is the money, are they going to make money off it and stuff? Yeah, I feel like that's a little bit against them.
Just on Babymetal, had just some additional points about their future direction and some interviews that they've done recently. So, would you mind if I expand on that?
Yeah, sure, go for it, man.
Yeah, so there was a couple of interviews that came out recently. Unfortunately, we don't really hear from the girls anymore. But yeah, just to give you kind of a bit of a summary of what was said in the interviews is kind of hints about Babymetal's direction and where they're going from now. So the first interview was in PMC Magazine, Volume 23. It was an interview with Koba about the other one. So as I mentioned earlier, this is like the alternative to the one, the other side of Babymetal. So yeah, it's based on the Metalverse or Metaverse. So I guess combining Metaverse virtual reality technology with real life Babymetal, I guess is the concept there. So
Koba chasing that NFT market.
Yeah, again, NFTs are not very popular among the fan base, but it is what it is, So yeah, now a lot of the I guess discussion about that has been negative, of course. Most people read through the translations, and they need kind of some context from good translators who kind of understand these things. So shout out to Capable Paramedic in the Reddit community, and shout out to Funny Toss or Stephen, who really helps non-Japanese speaking people to understand what Babymetal are saying. So these are actually some of his points. I'm stealing, sorry, but in the interview, like Koba talks about why Babymetal is sealed, basically to stop and take a fresh look at what they want to do going forward. That's what Koba says. I suppose a determined attitude to always challenge things, even if the group has grown more established. Not being able to take for granted that they would actually be able to perform, when desired. So I guess that comes down to, COVID that gave them restrictions on, how they could perform. Factors that compelled the transition to digital, practical difficulties affecting concerts, finding new ways to unite Babymetal fans. I think that's kind of ironic because I think they've been dividing Babymetal fans for the last few years. Selling NFTs and metaverse tools, again, unpopular, and digital, like what would ideally gradually move into a parallel world where you combine the real life with the virtual, with real life Babymetal versus metaverse or virtual reality Babymetal. And this actually got me thinking about, oddly enough, a K-pop band. There's a group called aespa. So basically they have 4 members, and the 4 members in real life exist in the real world, but then they have 4 like alternative members that only exist in the metaverse. So they call themselves like the first, like 4th generation metaverse pop group. So I think maybe Koba is kind of taking influence from like other genres and things like that, about having a kind of a hybrid vision for Babymetal going forward, where they combine the both to create something different. So much to fan criticism and depending on who you ask, that's kind of what they're going for. You know what I mean? And that's the vision going forward for Babymetal, it seems.
I have no problems with that. I contained Universe would be awesome. I said this in some of my comments for the Band-Maid video when they obviously showed their anime versions of themselves. A lot of people were like all for like a separate universe of just like the anime itself, and like a storyline with like any new videos or something would be pretty cool. So I got no issues with Babymetal doing this. The problem is, and this is the big if, the big but as it was, it's got to be done tastefully, tactfully. It's got to be done with fun and fans in mind. It's got to be done tastefully.
But that was the thing. Like, some people had the fear that
But
that Babymetal would go like completely virtual.
yeah.
You know, but that's not what they're saying, and that's what
Oh
I
yeah, no,
guess
yeah. It's gonna be
EP and Steve,
it's gonna be a
yeah,
side thing for
a
sure, for
hybrid
sure.
of
The
the two
problem
things.
with
Yeah.
Baby Metal, and the problem has always been with Baby Metal, is merchandise is expensive. You've got the one,
Yeah.
you've got merchandise sales, merchandise push, no sort of interaction with the girls. Baby Metal's merchandising policies are not very fan friendly, shall we say. It's very manipulative, very goal centric. Very, you can tell where Koba's priorities lie, and that's making money.
Yeah.
You know, that's making money. That's milking those whales. That's running the pockets of the fans' money dry. That's his goal. Like, let's not beat around the bush here, or try to like deceive ourselves. It's business, and he's there to make money. Baby Metal is a business to him, and they're there to make money. So that's what that's for. I don't mind that, because every band does it. Every band sells their merch. Every band has a logo. Every band has a gimmick to sell their fans, which their fans love. That's fine, but it's got to be done. It's got to be met halfway. You've got to push it, but you've also got to give the fans something in return. And the one thing that annoys me with Babymetal is I feel like they keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, milking and milking and milking and milking fans so much that I don't feel like they give anything back. Or they'll drop the album or the EP or whatever maybe this is going to be. Everybody will be excited, all will be forgiven, and then they'll go back to milking everybody dry again. And it's done. Babymetal, with it, for me personally, again, my own just personal opinion here, it's done to such an extent. I know people, this is where like Paul goes, but not just Paul. I know people that have spent thousands on merch, just to get into the one exclusive things that keep dropping, dog collars that cost hundreds. You know, to get shipped around the world, and it's just very, very in your face. Buy this without giving much back. That's always been my problem with Babymetal. I don't like the way that Babymetal are marketed, but the problem with Babymetal is just they're so fucking damn good that when something drops for the fans, it's hard not to get caught up, and it's hard not to love it, to be excited and just be like, yes, we've got something. And then Koba's just like, well, time to drop these exclusive.
Eating out the palm of your hand.
Yeah, and it's sad in a way, because I feel like Babymetal's probably, Babymetal are like the EA of music. You know, they really do
The best.
No, they really EA,
No?
the EA of music, EA games of music. They just really just leech the fans so hard. I think personally, again, there's other people that are going to be like, no, of course not. I love buying this stuff, and that's fine. That's fine. What I'm saying is just the priority of the band for me over the last 2-3 years has just been sell things, make money first, worry about content later. And I don't like that approach. What are your thoughts, Eric? Are you like for that, against that? Like, am I being a little bit too harsh there? What do you think?
It's always been too expensive for my wallet. I got this. I got the T-shirt. I got the flag. That's all. I can't afford any more of that. I got a family to support, and well, my money is marked.
Yeah. You see, that's the thing, and Leon touched on it there. The word Wales. Okay, for people who aren't familiar with Wales, Wales is like not the country now, but it's basically an extreme fan of a band who will literally spend all of their spare time, all of their spare income on a band, and basically financially support them. So the goal for Babymetal and Koba, I think, is the goal that other idol groups in Japan have, is to build up a large enough group of, extremely dedicated, committed, financially supportive fans, and then just coast on that. You know what I mean? Just kind of live off that. So that goes back to my thing about Babymetal kind of using the overseas market to, I guess, convince more whales to come into their pond, shall we say. So they really don't make an effort to appeal to the fish, shall we say, smaller fans, casual fans, new fans. They're concerned with looking after their base, looking after their whales, and you could say dolphins, shall we say. They don't have as much as whales, but they contribute when they can. I'm probably somewhere in between a whale and a fish. You could call me a dolphin. I'm not wealthy enough to be a whale, nor I don't have the time, and I don't live in Japan, but I try my best to support them when I can. So they definitely look after the whales and the dolphins, and they don't really care about the fish.
Is it looking after the whales though? Like I feel like that's more of a strategy to leech more, because that's effectively what it is. The term whales is, like I said, refers to few people that have bucket loads of money, oceans of money, or they don't have oceans of money but are so obsessed with the band that they spend literally everything they have.
That's the thing. Like, the whales and dolphins probably don't have that much money, but they're like, they contributed all to Babymetal. Do you know what I mean? Like, Eric has a family to support. He has other expenses, commitments, bills, and things like that. The whales are probably, they don't have any of that. Like, they're other than working hard and maybe they've made their money. It's like everything goes on their idol. Their
like I said, at the end of the day, this is a business strategy. Like I said,
it's appealing to a certain market.
Yeah, it's a business strategy.
It does really caring about other things.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a business strategy. It seems to do well for them. Like I said, Cobra makes no freaking excuses that's not what Babymetal are targeting. You can see it on their social media pages. You can see what they're doing, the way that they're pushing the merch, the way that they push their exclusive things, timed things for only this amount. Get it in now. Join the one. It is. Yeah, there's a lot of money being made there, of course. And if it helps the band, it helps the band. Nobody's telling you to go and spend thousands of pounds, to go and do this. It's purely subjective, I think, for every person that does it. But what I do get upset about that is, like I said, I feel like the band is so focused on that side of their marketing, their pushing, that I feel like the casual fans suffer. Like, if you just want a hello message from Suzuka, or hello England, we are here to tour, or whatever, you don't get that. You don't get that interaction. And I'm not saying that's a thing. You don't get anything. It's just it's heartbreaking following Babymetal half the time, and then just seeing on my feed, buy this. At least other bands try to sugarcoat it by buy this. Oh, hey, I've got a personal message. Here's 5 minutes of me playing my guitar or something. And then as soon as that's gone, buy this. They sprinkle some.
Definitely could do more. They
sprinkle that.
They could be more inclusive.
Yeah,
they could have much better distribution. That's one of the things with Babymetal is, like, they're good at selling things in Japan from their own personal store, A-Smart. It's connected to Amuse, but if you were trying to buy like basic type merchandise overseas, it's just really bad distribution. There's a very limited amount of things available, and then when you do order it, it takes forever to come, and the order is not right, because they're just distributing the thing through like Live Nation stores, which are just absolutely terrible. So they put no focus, no effort into distributing merchandise or doing anything for casual fans, other than touring, which they haven't been able to do.
I feel like that's not really been an issue for too much. I feel like they've always sort of stuck to their guns there. They know their audience. I just feel like more now with like the day and age of, like I said, NFTs coming out, more like bands sort of going for like digital stuff now.
Mm.
Yeah, like you can tell Babymetal and Cobra's gonna ride that tub of gravy all the way to the bank, which is a bit
Ride the gravy train.
well, yeah,
Not the
ride that
tub of
gravy train.
gravy.
Yeah. Hey, man, it could be a tub of gravy. Who knows? But yeah, it's upsetting. It is upsetting for me personally because I want to see more content. I want to see more interaction. I
Yeah.
want to see them do a little bit
Everyone
more.
does.
Everybody does.
Everyone does.
But it's kind of hard. But again, this is just my personal opinion. If you're watching this on YouTube, it is a bit of a sensitive subject. Let me know in the comments what are your thoughts on that. Do Babymetal push too hard? Is it just right? Is it enough? If you're obviously part of the one or you're buying all the merch that they release, are you happy doing so? Like, let me know in the comments why are you happy? Is it just the right amount of merchandise pushing or NFTs? Let me know your thoughts. It's definitely a subject I think everybody will have a vastly different opinion on. You'll have the people that are totally against it. You'll have the people that don't mind it but don't engage in it. You'll have the people that will engage it, and then you'll have the people that are all in on that. So there's a lot to kind of take in there, I think, and I'd be interested to see what people's opinions are on that one for sure. So
Yeah.
but yeah, like I said, absolutely crazy. Is there any other bands or anything like up and coming now that you guys want to touch on?
Yeah. No, I think that's all from me.
Yeah,
Eric?
I covered my part.
So sorry, say that again. Sorry, mate, I couldn't quite catch that one.
Okay, sorry. I think no, I don't have anything more.
Anything more? That's no problem. So what I'll do is then we'll start winding down, and we'll take some questions from chat, and then we'll obviously start off a few debates that way and get our juices flowing. So if you want to ask anybody any questions, obviously just ask Paul or Eric or myself or all of us. If that's what you want to, just ask some questions. I'll pick a couple out and we'll get on it. Oh, did Paul ever get the Babymetal shoes you want?
Unfortunately, with the whole NFT slash I guess Babymetal collaborations, things take a long time to actually come. Like the first time Babymetal did the NFT drop, it was with like the trading cards, whatever, and then you would get like a gold version of the album. Now that happened in like June of 2021, I think it was. No, June of 20, and then people didn't actually get the gold record until like September the next year.
Jesus.
So yeah, it's crazy how long it takes. So yeah, that's something that's like I don't think even going to happen for a good while. Like I've been on to now. I was speaking with One Block, which is the company that Babymetal is collaborating with for the sneakers, and yeah, they're just like oh yeah, we'll get around to it. You know, we have other things we're focusing on in terms of the crypto space.
I'm guessing these babies are getting framed. Then these surely are never getting worn.
If I ever get them.
If you ever get them, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I figure they'll get them eventually because they have like an agreement with the Muse, whatever, and I think a Muse will probably push for whatever to be sent out. It might take a while, but eventually will come. So yeah, I'll probably get some kind of display case or whatever just to keep them for good and not actually wear them because it's a unique thing, you know. So the NFT is worth nothing, so I don't really care about that. So
fair enough. Yeah. Liffy asks, "Who's the best metal?" I'm going to start with Eric.
Stupid question. It's obviously Sue.
Eric says otherwise.
Who's that?
It's the living legend.
The living legend.
Living legend.
For me, I think for a long time it was Moa, but I feel like with Metal Galaxy, for me, sort of tarnished her a little bit. I was not impressed with her input for that. So I would have to say, I'm leaning more towards Suzuka these days.
It makes sense. You know it makes sense. You just know it makes sense.
So, but yeah, I'd love more stuff for Moa to do in this new album, so I can get hyped about that again.
There's
Personally.
two types of people in this world. There's the people who know Suzuka is the best. There's people who just don't know it yet.
So I hate
They'll come around. They'll come around.
I hate saying I like Sue in front of Paul. Oh my god. The absolute shade. So even Hades is like, I'm proud of you, man. So, any more questions or anything? It's pretty quiet tonight in chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've covered pretty much.
We've
everything
pretty much
when it
covered
comes
everything,
to
haven't we? I
Babymetal,
feel like-
Anderson.
Yeah.
You know, we wanted to talk about Eric's experience with Necro. Like we've done that. We wanted to talk about Band-Maids, and we've done that, and then other groups. we've done that. So I think we've touched on pretty much.
Yeah, we have. We've got one more
Segment.
question though. For Eric. Loon says Yui or Kasumi.
I saw that right now.
Yui. There you go.
Yeah.
Good enough, Loon.
We know where his loyalties lie. We know that. So
there you go. All right, then, guys. So we'll wind down for this episode. I want to say a big thank you for everybody in chat for hanging out with us. I hope you've enjoyed. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube and you made it this far, I really appreciate it. A special thank you as well as my two guests who took the time out of their hectic, busy lives to come and join me today. So thank you, Eric, and thank you, Mr. Paul. I very much appreciate it.
Lucky have a question.
Oh,
Lucky has a
question.
We'll answer this one and.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on. Jesus Christ, I got threatened in my own show.
He's also threatening us with violence as well. So.
So we'll answer this question and then we'll end it for today.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, guys, if you're watching this on YouTube and you made it this far, please leave a like for this video. Lots of comments, share it, everything. I really appreciate it. It's been a while since we did the last episode, so I would really like to see this video kind of do a few rounds in the Babymetal community and other bands community as well. That'll be subjects that we talked about. Definitely a bit of controversy in some of the subjects as well. So I'd like to know people's thoughts and opinions and stuff on that. Again, just to let you know that this is obviously our own personal opinions as well. Opinions may vary. We're only here to discuss it. If you think you would like to discuss Babymetal or any other Japanese bands and you're interested in being on the show, join the Discord, DM me, let me know. I'm more than happy to have other people on the show, on the podcast as well, so we can talk about different subjects and different bands. So if that's something you're interested in, again, just get a hold of me and we'll make it happen. Lucky says, of all the Japanese bands, pick 6 for your ideal lineup. 6.
Wow, 6 is a lot.
6 is a lot. For me, it would be Babymetal, Band-Maid, Love Bites, Unlucky Morpheus. 2 more. See, this is where I'm going to struggle now, and I'm going to be like, what do I pick?
6 is a high
I'm gonna go for old school. I'm gonna say Japan X because I feel like they would be fun to watch.
It's Japan.
And then I don't know what to do. I don't know whether or not to go for like a proper band or like do a little bit of a cop out and say SG. I'll go for Gakko instead because they're actually still formed. So there you go. That would be my 6. I'd love to go and see them. What about you, Paul? What would you go for?
Babymetal obviously is going to be my headliner. Band-Maid. One Ok Rock before they went soft and shit.
Okay.
Lisa and her band.
Oh, Lisa, yeah.
Yeah.
Wagaki band as well. Oh, there's so many I want to see.
Yeah.
So many popping into my head.
Band, and then Takeyoshi Omura and his band, especially involving the Kami or Kadi band.
Yeah.
So yeah, Babymetal, Band-Maid, old school One Ok Rock, Lisa and her band, the Carrie bands connected to Babymetal, and Yeah. Yeah.
There's so many. Broken by the Scream as well, another one I wouldn't mind going to
Yeah.
see. Necro was one I wanted to go and see as well.
Yeah.
Jesus. For me, Ron Kicks as well. Little punk bands, awesome. I'd like to go and see them. There's like so many popping into my head now, and I'm just like, why didn't I say that? Yeah. There's too many.
I'm gonna
Rick,
cheat a little.
what's your one?
Ooh, Eric.
Of course, Babymetal. I want more Necro. Atarashigako, Bagaki Band. And here's the cheat. I want Bang Dream and D4DJ. I count them as one.
That would be a hell of a show. It would be a couple of hours, that one, wouldn't it?
Yeah. 24 hours.
Oh, we'd have to split that into like 2 days for Eric's.
Yeah. Festival, multi-day festival.
Multi-day festival. Awesome. But yeah, there's way too many fans. I guarantee I'll switch this podcast off in a bit, and then like another 18 band names will pop into my head. I'll be like, oh god damn it. So, but yeah, there's plenty and stuff. Well, thank you for the question. And the questions, guys. I really, really appreciate it. You guys have been absolutely amazing. Thank you for everybody watching this on YouTube again. Thank you for my guests. Thank you to everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed another episode of Podcast Desu. And I'll see you guys and ladies all next time. Have fun, guys, and see you soon.
See you.